What's going on, everyone? It's Alex here from Aleks Physio. So today I'm going to be going over 3 exercises that you can do to help fix your Trendelenburg Gait pattern. Let's get right into it. My name is Aleks Physio. I'm a physiotherapist in Vancouver, British Columbia. Now obviously this isn't medical advice, it's just education only. Please see a physiotherapist or your medical provider before, as Trendelenburg Gait can be associated with a multitude of different pathologies and presentations. And you want to make sure you're cleared for all those other issues prior to starting any of these exercises. But these exercises are going to be focused on improving your gluteus medius muscle activation and strength, because that is one of the primary muscles that is responsible for pelvic stability and control when you are walking. Because if you think about it, when you walk, every time you take a step, you have to basically balance on one leg. And if that gluteus medius muscle isn't working optimally, I guess you could say, then you will drop the hip on the opposite side, or you're going to trunk lean towards the leg that's on the ground. That's a compensated Trendelenburg Gait pattern. And if the hip drops on the opposite side, it's an uncompensated Trendelenburg Gait pattern, or just a Trendelenburg Gait pattern. So if you're leaning towards that side, you might see some people, if they're waddling, so they're going side to side, that's basically decreasing the amount of work that muscle has to do to maintain that pelvic stability. So it's one of your body's way of compensating for a weak gluteus medius muscle. Again, it could be a bunch of other things, but for simplicity's sake, we'll just say that Trendelenburg Gait pattern is as a result of a weaker glute medius muscle. Let's get right into it. The first exercise we're going to do is a side plank, and there are studies that use EMG, and EMG isn't the greatest measure of muscle activity. That shows that the side plank is the highest, the exercise that has the highest level of gluteus medius muscle activation. So the way this one's going to work is you're going to get it in a side plank position. So feet stacked on top of each other, knees stacked on your elbow, and trying to lift your hip closest to the ground off the ground, and you're trying to maintain this position. So squeeze your bum muscles, nice straight line, look straight ahead, top hand on your pelvis, and just try to hold here. Okay, we're going to try to see if we can hold for 30 seconds. Okay, so you can try to see if you can hold that for 30 seconds. If that's too challenging, the way to make it easier is doing it with your knees bent. You're shortening the lever arm, so it makes the exercise more tolerable. And again, trying to hold that position, trying to avoid letting that pelvis drop towards the ground. Another way to make it easier, if you're trying to be able to do it with your knees straight, is have your feet in line with each other versus stacked, because that's going to increase your base of support, so it's going to give you a little bit more stability and make it easier. A way to make it harder is now trying to make it more dynamic. So you're going to drop the hip down, come back up, drop down, come up. Okay, that's exercise 1. Exercise 2, we're going to do a standing fire hydrant. We're going to use this band to give us a little bit more feedback. So we're standing on our left leg, and we're basically trying to bring our knee out to the side. So we're actually working both sides. We're working the leg that's on the ground, primarily actually, and then we're working the other one against the band. Try to go at a diagonal, at a 45-degree angle, and try to keep your hips straight as you're doing this. And switch. So again, balance is going to play a big role in this movement. I love my pink bands, if you're wondering. Okay, that's exercise 2. Exercise 3, you're going to do a monster walk. So the band, exercise 3, you're going to do a monster walk. So in this case, you can put the band above your knees, around your ankles, or around your feet. I'm going to do it around my feet. It's the most challenging out of the 3. You're trying to bring your leg out to the side, and then keep tension on the band as you walk side to side. Again, you're working on those muscles. You should be feeling them on the side of the hips, that glute medius muscle. And you're trying to keep your toes pointing straight ahead. You're trying to keep your hips rotated outwards and in line with your second toe throughout. And keep tension on the band. Don't let the band slide. Don't let your feet slide as you're doing the movement. Okay, so really feel my glute muscles working. So the 4th exercise we're going to do are some hip hikes. And the way this is going to work is you're going to try to stand on one leg, and you're trying to drop your pelvis towards the side that's on the ground, and then stand up tall on that side. And sometimes it helps if you have an elevated platform like a block to do this from, but it's a very subtle movement. Drop down and come up. I'll show you from behind. So you're dropping the hip down towards that right side if my right leg is off the ground, and up tall. And I'm trying to do it while keeping my knee straight on this leg that's on the ground. Okay, so very subtle, but that's one of the functions of the glute med, is to try to keep your pelvis level. Okay. Okay, that's exercise 4. Exercise 5, we're just going to work on a single leg deadlift. So the way this is going to look is you're going to stand on your left leg, and you're trying to bring your right leg back behind you, torso forward, right toes point towards left heel to keep your pelvis relatively level in line, and then stand up tall. Okay, so again, lean forward, torso forward, bum back, right leg back, right knee straight, heel to the sky, and drive through. So again, balance, dynamic balance, because you're moving and working on that glute strength, but you're working both of them. So you're working the right glute max, so glute maximus when you're coming back on that right side, and then you're working on the left glute max also, in addition to the glute med, when you come back from that hip flexion to extension and squeeze your bum muscles together. That's exercise 5, single leg deadlifts. That could be modified. If you find that it's too challenging on the balance, just hold on to something at the beginning and then gradually try to do it without holding on. Or you can slide your leg back, lean forward, and then just at the last second try to lift your leg up, and then come back down, slide forward, come back to the start. Those are ways to make it a little bit easier if you find it's too challenging. And then obviously if those are too easy, you can do it with weight, you can change the tempo, and see how there you have it. We went over 3 exercises that you can do to fix or improve your Trendelenburg Gait pattern. Obviously these exercises need to be done over a prolonged period of time. You're not going to notice any changes within the first several days. It's going to take at least 4 to 6 weeks to notice a change in your walking pattern and in your strength of that glute medius muscle. And the key that you notice is that these exercises, we try to do them in a single leg. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know how these exercises. Do you have a Trendelenburg Gait pattern, or do you notice that you're wobbling? If you find value in my videos, consider checking out some of my other videos where I talk about various medical related topics. If you still find value, consider subscribing to my channel. It really allows my channel to grow and allows me to reach a wider audience. Until then, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for